Good morning, everybody. It's Emmy from The Great Adventure. And Gracie and I are shoving off this morning from Berlin Lake, Ohio, and driving cross state to Wapakoneta, Ohio. We are making our slow traverse from the East Coast back to Denver, Colorado. When I was with Mercy Ships, and it was a travel day, we used to call it the moving of the Ark, as in the Ark of the Old Covenant. Oh, did you like that little floaty that went by? Anyhow, but I wanted to share with you a little lesson God brought in living color last night. And I share this with a little bit of hesitancy, only because I have family who worry about me as I do this drive, and friends that worry about me. But it's always good when you're out on your own traveling to be cautious. And anyhow, last night I was taking a walk at dusk with Gracie in this beautiful campground. And in case you've been wondering, since the prices of gas are up, there are less people traveling these days. And so the campground was fairly empty in this part of the campground. In fact, down this lane, it's only me with my trailer. And I happen to be set up right next to the camp host, Carl, and I can't remember his wife's name, but wonderful people. And Carl's probably about 6'4", maybe 187 pounds. I think he's ex-Marine. He was deployed during Desert Storm, and I've thanked him for his service. Big guy, definitely the kind of guy you want on your side when you're in a scary situation. Anyhow, back to last night. I was taking Gracie on her last walk for the evening, and it really was only probably about 7:45 p.m., not real late. The sun had not completely gone down, although it was in the midst of starting to work its way through the trees. We're kind of in a forest here on a lake. And so I walked down an area of the campground that I hadn't been yet, which was kind of a lonely lane into the forest where we've seen some deer, and it moves towards the lake, and I wanted to get some good shots of the lake. And I was walking down there, and I turned and walked down another lane, and pretty wooded, and nicely paved road, but fairly wooded. And I got some great shots of the sun through the trees. And then I turned around to go back to the trailer. And that's when I realized there was a man walking behind us. Now, he was probably, I want to say, about 30 feet, 40 feet behind us. And he was coming in our direction very slowly. And I just got the heebie-jeebies. He was dressed in khakis, probably in his early 50s, not real tall. Yeah. Nothing real descriptive about him. I had wire rim glasses, but he was walking towards us, and very slowly. Now, mind you, there were no campers down that way. There was a restroom in that wooded area, but there was also a restroom down by my trailer. And so I prayed quickly, God, I don't know what to do. But you know that kind of feeling that you have where your hair stands on the back of your neck? That's kind of what it felt like. So I picked up the pace a little bit, and we were walking towards him. And so we walked right past him, and I acted as confidently as I could, and I said, good evening. And he said, hello. And we walked past him, got a few feet, and I kind of turned around, and I noticed he was watching us. Then he quickly turned and headed towards the bathroom in the woods. Now, mind you, there were no campers down there. So, of course, Gracie and I picked up the pace. In fact, we jogged back to the trailer, which was a good distance away from there. When we got back, I went to the campground hosts and told them what I had seen, and that this man just kind of gave me the woolies. I just couldn't put my finger on it, but my gut instinct was there's something not quite right about this guy. Now, when you're traveling alone and you're traveling as a female, we need to make note, whether we're female or not, we need to make note of our surroundings. And so for any of you out there traveling solo, that's a word to the wise, to keep track of your surroundings. And it was a good thing that I told the hosts. They said there have not been any incidents, but about 2 months ago or a month ago, some teenagers noticed that there was a kind of a strange looking guy that didn't look quite right that was hanging out by that bathroom. I don't know if the guy was just a local taking a walk, or if he was a camper from another part of the campground. I have no clue. But unfortunately, mental health issues are up in our country right now, and we live in a country that needs a lot of help. So I instantly went back to my trailer, and after Carl, our camp host, assured me that he would notify the sheriff, because they do rounds in the campground to make sure everything's safe, and they would be watching out. I pulled down all the shades, I locked the doors, closed the windows, and turned on my air conditioner, and that was that. But then I sent out a word to a lot of my prayer warrior friends, not my family, because I didn't want them to worry, but, 2 brothers I let know, but because they're campers, and I thought they might have some good advice. But I got the word out to pray, and people began praying. And I asked them not only to pray for me, but to pray for other campers and to pray for that man. For all I know, he was just a guy out for a stroll, or he might have some mental health issues, or he might be up to no good. But we can always sick the power of heaven on our enemies and ask God to help them. And that's what I did. And I prayed that I would sleep through the night. Now, I'm laughing this morning because I also, those of you that have been to retreats where I've led worship, know about Mr. Wonderful. I'm surprised I haven't introduced you to Mr. Wonderful. I traveled with Mr. Wonderful, who was a gift to me years ago at one of my retreats. There's Mr. Wonderful. And Mr. Wonderful is wonderful because he says all the things that we ladies would hope our husbands would say, but forget to say them or wouldn't think to say them. I'll give you an example here. Let's see what he says.
I love you.
Oh, isn't that great? Well, this morning I happened to roll over. I had him on the bed, and I happened to roll over. By the way, I slept on the bed with a very heavy flashlight that could conk somebody in the head if they tried to break in. And my brother reminded me cast iron skillets always work. So my brother-in-law, Sam, had given me one. Thank you, Sam. And I slept with that on the other pillow. And I uploaded on my phone a siren sound. How's that? Anyhow, Gracie just does not cut it as a guard dog. She just licked the bowl that I had. Anyhow, so I happened to roll over this morning on Mr. Wonderful, and the thing that he said was, gee, honey, I don't know which way to go. Maybe I'll go in here and ask for directions. Something guys don't often do. Anyhow, so I heard that, and I happened to be pouring my coffee and getting ready to read my Bible. And this is what I read. It's in Psalm 25. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, oh my God. Now, I don't know about you, but we all trust in a variety of things. We turn the lights on and we trust they're going to go on. I have a dear friend that, and actually a sister-in-law recently that jumped out of an airplane. They trusted in their parachute. Not that I'm saying that's wrong, but we trust in a variety of things, but a lot of us hesitate to trust in God. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. In you I trust, O my God. Do not let me be put to shame, nor let my enemies triumph over me. No one whose hope is in you will ever be put to shame. And then it goes on later to say, show me your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Guide me in your truth and teach me. For you are God, my Savior, and my hope is in you all day long, even into scary nights. Well, last night, I put my hope in God. I had no other place to put my hope. And today, as I travel, I put my hope in God all day long. Just like Mr. Wonderful. Gee, I don't know which way to go. Maybe I'll seek some guidance. And my guidance comes from God. I pray that all of us today, you and me both, will put our hope in God. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're traveling solo, be safe and don't travel solo. Invite God along.